Welcome back to the Market Mindset Podcast. Matt Lairden here. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am so blessed, fortunate to have a vehicle, a venue, a podcast where I get to interact with, talk to, learn from real estate professionals from across the United States. Dynamic individuals, usually in a specific niche of real estate. And I've always said there's riches and niches, but dynamic individuals that have a lot to offer. And one of those individuals who I've looked up to for a long time, finally had a chance to get some time with her. Her name's Erika McNew. She's out of the Valentine office of Keller Williams in Charlotte, North Carolina. She specializes in commercial real estate. How she got into the business is fascinating. How she transitioned over to commercial real estate is just amazing. And it's with great pleasure. And really the pleasure was mine to have an opportunity to spend some time today with Erika McNew.
Well, it's a great privilege and an honor to have Erika McNew. She's with Keller Williams out of Valentine, North Carolina. Beautiful, beautiful state, beautiful person, Energizer Bunny out there. I really enjoy watching you on social media. You're such a giving, caring person, and I'm honored just for you to carve out some of your time to be with us today. So the question begs to ask, what's going on there? Tell us a little bit about the storm, North Carolina, and really, like you were sharing with me earlier, what amazing things Keller Williams is doing to help the people of Asheville. Please share.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Matt, for having me here. I'm so excited to collaborate with you and very grateful for this opportunity. So this storm, so Charlotte actually is all right, but Western North Carolina is definitely devastated. We actually still have rescue teams going in, finding people that were trapped in mudslides. So there's people that are still, alive that need to be rescued. You have entire towns that have been wiped out and are gone off the map. Chimney Ridge, completely gone, just flattened. So you have, it's absolute devastation. And within this, I think the beautiful part of this is what you see is communities start to come together. And so watching what the communities that I know of that are coming together and bringing supplies to Asheville and the surrounding areas is absolutely phenomenal. Keller Williams being one of those communities. I'm so proud of the company that I'm with. And this is one of the reasons I love my company so much. They have organized massive trucks full of supplies, lots of water they're going in and all of that good stuff. So they definitely are stepping up to the plate and rescuing as many people as they can and bringing supplies. So I'm really proud of them. My region, Carolinas region, has played a huge part in coordinating those efforts as well. Lot to coordinate when there's no roads to get in or out.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I know that I saw Mr. Graham's group in there. Reverend Graham's, Franklin Graham's group, and they're just really coordinating a lot of effort in there. Do you have a KW website, or if any of our viewers and listeners want to donate, do you have a resource? Or
yes, you can look up KW Cares. KW Cares is our nonprofit with our company.
Okay.
And if you go on the KW Cares website, kwcares.com, you'll see where the hurricane relief is in particular.
Great. So everyone out there, KW Cares, if you want to get involved, if you're with Keller Williams or not, it's a real, worthy effort. And again, you're so active in the community and getting information out there, so I appreciate it. So let's circle back to Erika. Erika, like I said, you're the Energizer Buddy. You're so giving. You're so caring about all the, fellow agents, but agents in other markets, other companies. Tell us a little bit about your business there.
Yeah, so I have my business. Sorry, my dog is.
I love it.
She's so sweet. So I actually started in residential in 2015. Very blessed to have started in a market like Charlotte, North Carolina, that's for sure. And I had no friends or family, did not know street names or neighborhoods, but was like, oh, real estate should be perfect.
Right.
So got my license, realized quickly I didn't know anyone. And so I specialized with for sale by owners and expired listings in particular.
Okay.
Which was phenomenal. I picked up a couple investment properties from that, created an investor database, and I ended up specializing with just investors towards 2018. So by 2018, I had a very unique opportunity, took a step back from building out the residential real estate business to actually build a vertically integrated manufacturing and retail company from startup in the cannabis space, so in hemp. We started off as processors and retail, grew into manufacturing and cultivation. I expanded that company into Central Florida, where my mom actually owns the second location. Made her a business owner, which has been phenomenal. Difficult working with family, of course, but
yeah.
you know, it's worth it.
Okay.
We actually ended up purchasing a 15,000 square foot industrial building in 2020 with an SBA loan with that company. So
Wow.
that was my first commercial real estate experience, was building a company that bought commercial. We actually ended up getting under contract on a retail location that had a motel on the back, very unique. Went
Okay.
through the SBA process, underwriting and due diligence on that. We had to back out because of misrepresentations, but it made me realize how amazing that multi-unit asset could be in particular.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, multifamily, I think this is kind of my lane. I replaced myself out of that company 2023, the beginning of 2023, and stepped into full-time commercial sales. So
Okay. I
it's
love
been a
it.
fun
So
journey.
you started in residential, then had an opportunity, pivoted to a family business, was successful, then realized, okay, I'm going to go back into the commercial space. So you like commercial, KW commercial.
Oh, love. KW commercial in particular has completely changed my life. I would not be where I am today without that community in particular.
Wow, that's great. What, from a business perspective, are you listing? Are you doing buy side representation? Do you have a pool of investors? What are you looking for? What's your business model?
Yeah, so and it's always evolving. I think that's the fun part about real estate. So I've taken some of this past experiences. I actually was also a team leader for a Keller Williams office for 12 months, turned it around, got it back to profit. So that experience with consulting people on their businesses and watching that growth was really satisfying. So I've taken that now. I have my residential investor business, mainly me collaborating and partnered with Bigger Pockets, which I
Okay.
love as a platform. I also had my commercial business specializing with multifamily and industrial in particular, just because of my previous experience as an
Right.
owner. And then I actually am now doing business brokerage. So I'm helping people, consulting them on building up the business for a smooth due diligence process to help them sell, and also helping them purchase commercial real estate, just like my company did, so that they have tangible assets after they sell their company to hold on.
Right. I love that. I helped a friend. He's a CPA, right? He's getting
Yeah,
up there, and same thing. He wants to eventually sell the practice, but
yep,
if he has the building, he keeps the building and he rents back, to the people buying his CPA practice, and I love
exactly.
that concept. Uh, what a lot of people aren't aware of, though, is that, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about the retail side. But a lot of people think that McDonald's owns their buildings, or Starbucks, or uh, AutoZone, or PetSmart. And what we find out is that those are leases that are available out there for
Yeah,
investors as well. Because,
exactly.
McDonald's is in the business of selling hamburgers. PetSmarts wants to sell pet food, right? And
Right.
Sherwin-Williams wants to sell paint. But yeah, so circling back,
Absolutely.
what are cap rates on multifamily in your neck of the woods? What are you seeing cap rates at, with the decent occupancy?
Right. So our average occupancy for Charlotte's around like 95, 96%. So we're pretty solid market. We also have decent household formation happening. We have very decent growth, population growth. I think the latest data I had seen was like still have 133 people moving here a day.
Wow.
So obviously they need housing and
Right.
temporary housing and everything else. So multifamily, we're actually seeing, gosh, cap rates right now, we're seeing like fives, high fives, lower sixes. And
Okay.
so, however, so much opportunity because multifamily in Charlotte market turned over a lot more in recent years than other markets. And because of our high turnover of assets and inventory, those people, their maturity dates are coming due on their loans, and they're going to have no choice but to transfer the asset because they can't refinance into better rates right now and
Right.
able to at any point. So we have a lot of delinquencies that are starting. We have distressed sellers and distressed
Okay.
general partners that are starting. So a lot of opportunity to get in on multifamily in the Charlotte area right now.
Yeah. I remember it. There's a triad of areas in North Carolina where tech and pharmaceutical, and it's just such a growth oriented, beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful state. So you're seeing a little pressure in the multifamily because loans are coming due. Did I hear you correctly?
That's correct. I think that the two biggest opportunities are going to be the multifamily in Charlotte because of loans coming to. And I think that, just for example, I saw somebody recently picked up a $30 million asset for 10 million. So like the banks are not property managers. They're not positioned to want to take back keys. They like to make things work and be reasonable if they can. So people coming in that are able to either assume the mortgage or are able to negotiate directly with dispositions, bank managers, and that kind of thing, I think is going to be really important.
Right.
And transfer of businesses is the other big one. You have, the boomer generation, they got these companies. Their YouTube kid stars definitely don't want a manufacturing company or a car wash, but
Right.
them because those car washes, one of them in Florida, my partner's under contract on, net cash flows $28,000 a month with no employees.
Oh, you're kidding.
So I would take it. So I think the business acquisitions and the multifamily acquisitions are going to be really solid areas to focus on.
So business acquisition, and with that comes maybe a real estate kicker for you. But I mean, you've really diversified your real estate practice? I mean,
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Um, where if people are moving, and we don't not if, but people are moving to North Carolina, Charlotte, where are they coming from?
A lot of them are coming from New York and I would say New York and California.
Okay.
Uh, and those are markets, honestly, we look at those markets to determine what our market is going to do. Those are precursor markets to ours.
Oh,
And so
fascinating.
something to keep in mind though is like people are like, yeah, people are flooding out of New York and California. It's like most of them have a home to sell. They still have to sell their home to get here. So it shows you like there are still people moving into California and New York because they're still buying and
Right.
those people are able to sell and move here. So those are the two main markets though.
Right. Right. I mean, for us in California, it's somehow on New Year's Day when we do the Rose Parade, it's it's rainy and blustery all over the United States, but somehow we have this beautiful sunshine, and we're always going to have an influx of people coming here. But
Yeah.
my generation, my dad's generation, people we're moving, we're moving, and
Yeah.
and we're heading east. We're heading east. I'm looking at Colorado, maybe when my grandkids are a little bit older, and in Texas. North Carolina is a little too far away from me, but I love North Carolina. My
Yeah.
had family there. Beautiful Bojangles. You ever go to Bojangles?
Oh, of course, a staple
Okay,
and icon in this area.
right. My kids still talk about Bojangles and the biscuits and gravy, and I've been there a number of times, and I've got to say it's pretty good. Uh,
Yes.
yeah. So
Even
back to
my
business.
grandparents, the barbecue sauce. Every time I come to Florida, they're like, "You
Oh,
got to get us some of that Carolina barbecue
oh
sauce
yes.
in
Oh,
bulk."
no. Carolina ribs. That's right. Baby backs. Um,
Uh-huh.
how much of certainly going back to business, how much of your business is listing versus buy side representation?
So mostly buy side. And my systems are really customized for buyers in particular.
Okay.
Listings, I love listings. I love marketing. And I think it's funny because a lot of, what everybody is taught as an agent is that you control the listings, you control the market. But I think that it's very market specific and dependent. And I get more buyers than I do listings right now. And I'm able to close out a higher amount of those buyers. Listings, like you get into, I had people who were doing fix and flips that got caught in market conditions, and next thing you know, the property's sitting on market for 4 or 5 months, and it's like, what happened?
Right.
So I think that working with investors specifically, I've learned like I'm very picky on working with investors on fix and flips, and those would be a majority of my listings I pick up. So
Okay.
I'm picky with that, but buyers, I love to negotiate. I think that I love working with my investors and showing them what's possible, even in this market where they're like saying the interest rates are too high. And then I show them, look, we just secured a phenomenal deal on market, negotiated a good amount off, saved you cash out of pocket. You have cash flow and your cash on cash return is solid. So I
Right.
love showing them what can be done in any market.
Yeah. That I love hearing about cash on cash return. I think That's my quick back of the napkin calculation when
Yep.
I do some due diligence on a property. Look at the interest rate, look at, what's my cash on cash return. I wish I heard that term more out there.
Yes.
Tell for all the investors out there, what's your due diligence process look like? And are you more multifamily? Or I know you mentioned industrial because you've got a solid background in industrial with a family. Um, so your due diligence process, talk to us a little bit about what you look for.
Absolutely. Most of the time, especially with multifamily, what I'm looking at is anything that the seller has tried to throw in last minute just for the sale. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for historicals. I'm looking for things that were covered up last minute. I'm looking for financials that were amended last minute. And those are the main things I find. What's really neat is I tell people like it sits at a certain cap rate, but depending on what we find in due diligence, it might actually be a higher cap rate than we thought it was. And there's so much value add opportunity on multifamily from owners that are, self-managing and just not operating it at a very high level. There's rent bumps available they're not taking advantage of. So sometimes there's a lot more value add than we realize, and we see that in the due diligence process. But I'm making sure to check, like, how did they qualify the tenants? That's a big one I've caught on to. Is like, did you fill up just to get a higher occupancy rate? Weren't really qualifying the tenants as well as you should, and we're actually taking on a bunch of problems. So also looking at, line item expenses. If they're saying it's 5% to property management, I don't know if that's going to be the case for us. So,
Right.
typically, property management will range anywhere from 7 to 10%. It's really
Exactly.
what you pay for, or you get what you pay for. So if you're getting like a 7% property manager, they're typically a new company that needs the book of business. So,
Right.
5%, I'm like, wait a minute, this is off. So I think that due diligence process, also protecting the tenants. Tenants, when they see an asset's being transferred, they get squirrely. They take it as a reason to not pay this month's rent. They take it as a reason to ghost all of a sudden. You don't want to make tenants uncomfortable in any way. And so often when we go in, we're not disclosing, that we're buying the asset or that I'm an agent that we're buying this asset. Typically, it's like, we're just here for inspections. We're just here to do our inspections. That's
Wow,
all.
I like that
So,
concept.
it's very, very important for sure.
Yeah, because I remember back, renting, and I was like, oh, ownership change, rent increases. Uh,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know, they haven't kept up with the CPI or whatever, and you get that nervousness about you. But I
Yes.
love sort of going in discreetly, and it's even better when the property isn't being marketed. And, if you can find
Mhm.
something where you can be a little more covert when you're doing that due diligence, do you look at all you're looking at the credit quality of your tenants, obviously. Do you look at lease duration before the next rent bump and things like that?
Absolutely. Because I've seen a situation where somebody purchased an asset and most of the leases were tiered in June and July, and they purchased the asset in like July, not realizing that the amount of operational load and work that was going to have to go into renewing all of those leases that quickly. And what it does is on commercial lending in particular, they can yank your loan for a variety of reasons and say, hey, it's due back. And so that's the difference between commercial and residential lending. Commercial is a little bit more like you really have to know what you're doing. And so when your, debt service coverage ratio is off all of a sudden because all of these leases and your vacancy rate is shooting up, the loan starts to look at you like, hey, what's happening? The lender,
And they
yeah,
pay
so,
attention that much on your multifamily. The loan officer or the whoever wrote it up, they're paying attention to that.
oh yeah. And in fact, there's I get data from certain commercial platforms that shows you that lenders will actually mark like, hey, this one looks like it's at risk. This file looks like it's at risk. And that isn't necessarily because you haven't paid your mortgage payment. They do it off a variety of different data points, and they can kind of notate in your file, and I can see that data as a commercial real estate agent whose loan is at risk or who's at risk with their loan.
Well, I mean, and that just opens up a market for you right there. I mean,
Absolutely.
you're the market is what it is, and if you've got a landlord, multifamily owner that's under some pressure, you might be doing them actually a great service to come in and offer to take that property off their hands. Who's selling? I mean, obviously the rate increase, but my business is transitioning retirees out of multifamily into
Yeah.
those single tenant triple net lease properties. I mean,
Yes.
you know, and but for younger people, I mean, way younger, older like I still believe multifamily is where it's at. I mean, I love multifamily. I love everything about it. But at the same time, these retirees, tenants, toilets, trash, termites, telephone calls, teenagers,
Yep.
name it, and there's a certain point in time that they want to transition out. Beside, I mean, and if as a multifamily owner, they don't have typically they don't have kids who want to take over, and like you said, a property manager, I always factor in 10%
Yeah,
right away,
absolutely.
and you still own the problems. But for younger investors, I love multifamily, and then a high density population where you said what 183 people moving in. How often?
133 people a day.
133 people a day. Wow,
Yeah.
still a growth area.
Yeah,
Still
big
a
time.
beautiful growth area.
Absolutely.
And do banks still factor in a 25% vacancy rate when you're looking at multifamily financing? What's the vacancy rate they typically put in as a fudge factor?
So I recently saw 12% is what got factored in. And I
Okay,
think that's just because our market here in Charlotte, like I said, we're at like 96% occupancy on average. So like
right.
we're a pretty strong market because of that. But because I do North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida, I'm licensed in all three. I do a location economic analysis, which is just basically a bunch of data points that give you a snapshot of any particular market. So you can look at it quickly and say, yes, I would purchase multifamily here, or no, this market looks like it's declining. So I got that Excel spreadsheet from one of my mentors in the beginning. It's been phenomenal.
I love it.
Go say those words to any investor and they're like, yes, please.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
awesome. So but that gives a good snapshot of who's growing and who's not. And Charlotte is just a really strong market on those snapshots.
Right, right. So going back, you talked about this mentor. Tell us about some of the people in your life that have had a significant impact on your career.
Oh gosh, so many people. And most of them within Keller Williams. I've been so grateful for this network. One of the most impactful, I would say, is Alicia Shepard. She is the COO for KW Commercial. So she's on
Okay.
the executive team. And in 2022, my partner with that hemp company, he was constantly trying to shut the company down, constantly trying to quit. And I'm like, we're going to buy a building first, and then you can shut it down. And
Right.
then it stabilized and we didn't have an issue. But I was like, we were running out of capital because we had no investors. It was 100% equity. And in 2022 was like, well, I don't know how to raise capital. So I started going to KW commercial events. I'm like, I think the people I need will be here.
Right.
And it was awesome because I did find 28 KW commercial agents that have a syndication fund. And we're like, we'll be the investor for your down payments and we'll teach you how to put together offering memorandums to ask for money. And I was like, where in the world would I had found something like that? Alicia, as a woman in commercial, especially a woman in leadership in commercial, she has paved the way, creating a community that I have never seen in commercial real estate anywhere else. And that community is so tight knit. We really look out for each other. We send each other business consistently. Most of my business comes from that network. She's instilled a great deal of confidence in me. We even did an exercise. She puts me in rooms that my production volume, like I don't actually belong in yet. That's how
Okay.
much she believes in me, but she puts me in very exclusive VIP rooms all the time with a bunch of multimillionaires for me to learn from. And she sees something in me before I saw it in myself. And so we did an exercise one time where I broke the board, the high ya,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you had to write down your limiting belief and then you had to break the board. And I have the board framed because it actually had a massive impact on me and my confidence around building an empire and not needing a partner to do so, being fully capable of doing so on my own and being a CEO of my empire. And so Alicia Shepard in particular, I think has been one of the biggest best mentors that I've had. Coach Alicia.
Yeah, shout out to Alicia and then she obviously, as I think we all do out here in this world, we know you're doing big things there in the commercial sector. I'd love to see it. Are you a Duke or a UNC or a North Sports wise, where are your allegiances?
Sports wise, like Panthers, obviously. I love my Panthers. Uh,
Okay.
and then I go to the Hornets games a lot.
Okay.
I love basketball and football in particular.
You're in a great area for that.
Yes, oh God, it's amazing. We even have the Knights Baseball Stadium in Kannapolis. We have the Charlotte Motor
Oh,
Speedway in
well, yeah.
Concord. I joke, I came from Daytona, one of
Right.
the big racetracks to one of the other biggest racetracks. So
Well, North Carolina, I mean, they've got that NASCAR.
yes.
I mean, they really do. What's the just so people get to know you? What's your on your reading list right now?
Oh my gosh. So lots of good things. Okay, so Matt Sorensen, the self-directed IRA handbook.
Okay.
You can watch a dozen live stream videos and Zooms and podcasts. You could watch a dozen. I have the amount of condensed information in that one book is absolutely insane. So like I'm just reading through that entire book and then I'll go do all the other stuff and absorb more, but that is a good foundation.
Right.
One of the other ones is I left my 9-year relationship last year in February. And so I am very intentional on making sure that, before I get into dating too much, that like I am exactly who I need to be. So I actually picked up 101 questions to ask before you get engaged.
Okay.
And it's cool because if anybody that like attempts to want to date me, they get put through the book. And I've got one guy halfway through the book. I think he's doing well. So but
Hey,
it's like, this is your time. We got to get these things out of the way. We got to know.
I love that idea. I'm gonna pass that on to a couple male
It's
and female friends that I have. That's great. Um, Guys, share us a little hidden gem of a restaurant that you don't want to tell everyone about, but you're going to share with us in your
Oh
hometown.
gosh. So there's two. So I'm in Indian Trail and the trail house is like your classic kind of hole in the wall dive bar, but it reminds me of home, Daytona Beach. And I
Okay.
love it. So they have delicious food. It's amazing. I go to the bar on a Friday night and I just get like a cookie sundae and I just sit there and eat my cookie sundae. It's my best life. And then Tap and Vine is also over here, wine flights and lobster grilled cheese. Sign me up.
Oh, wow. Well, okay, say that one again for us.
The Tap and Vine. Tap and
Tap
Vine
and Vine.
is amazing. Yes. It's funny because it's right near the Keller Williams office in Indian Trail. And
Okay.
all of us for one of our last business meetings we had when I was team leader, we went to Tap and Vine for it. And we were like, oh my God, we should have been here the whole time.
Right.
All our business meetings over here.
Well, everyone out there, you've heard it directly from Erika. So we got two cool restaurants there. Last thing, bucket list vacation. Do you ever take a vacation?
Oh my God. Okay. So Friday, I go outside of the country for the first time, and I'm going to Cancun. And Bigger Pockets is having their conference. So I'm going for this massive investor conference in Cancun. I'm actually going with one of my KW commercial people that also does Bigger Pockets. We are
Okay.
driving to Tulum through the rainforest in the jungle, and we're going to go see the Mayan ruins. So that is actually one of my bucket list items. I didn't even realize until after I booked the trip and everything. I didn't even know where I was going, but I'm like, yeah, I'm going. Sign me up.
I'm
So
telling you, Erika, you are living your best life. I follow you on social media. You're just a bright spot in my day. Your energy's obviously and enthusiasm's contagious. You've got a well-rounded business practice, life. You're such a giver. People are going to get a hold of you. If investors out there, anyone wants to participate in this economic continuing boom in North Carolina, how do people get a hold of you?
absolutely. So you can follow me on Instagram at Erika the Realtor, Erika with
Okay.
a K, the Realtor. And you can always call or text me anytime. I joke I work realtor hours, weekends, holidays, evenings. So
Yes.
my cell phone number is 704-606-3550.
Okay. We're gonna wrap this up, but at the end of this, I'm gonna put a little, I guess we call it a donut at the end and have all your contact information. Erika, I know how busy you are. And we just want to thank you for coming on, sharing your experience, talking about commercial there, sharing what's going on, as far as the storm is concerned in Asheville. and we're going to send kwcare.com. That's where people can
Yes,
help out.
kwcares.com. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're a credit, and Keller Williams lucky to have you. I mean,
Oh,
and we're lucky to have you out here in the social media world. You inspire so many people. Just thank you again for coming on, and I can't wait to circle back, talk to you in a couple months, and see how things are going.
this has been such a gift. Thank you. I am so, so grateful for this experience. It's really been a pleasure to collaborate with you.
You're awesome, Erika. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, take care.